Here's the thing. My cousin and I have very different ideas about what it means to be a hero. He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
The brigands brought destruction to every corner of the universe, of the galaxy. Must be defended.
You cannot give up on me.
That was a party.
Oh, that might be a problem.
No, it's pretty colorful, but that's just so everyone knows we're...
I'm going to tell you something. Only one of you is going to make it out alive.
We haven't been formally introduced.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. James Gunn and DC dropped the final Supergirl trailer because tickets are on sale. There's a whole bunch of new Easter eggs, more Superman. We also just got some new footage of Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow, with Superman wailing on Lex Luthor in the Warframe, so we will break it all down. We got a little bit more of Jason Momoa as Lobo. I know there's a bunch of big questions about crossovers. What about the Green Lantern Corps? Because we have Lanterns coming up. We also just had the Clayface trailer. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack. We'll start at the beginning of the trailer and work our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs and WTF moments. Just because there is a lot of Superman stuff at the beginning of the trailer, we also talk about the Superman Man of Tomorrow footage that we just got like last night with Superman versus Lex in the Warframe. At the beginning of the trailer, we get Kara's voiceover, and it sounds like she's talking to Ruthie, just explaining Superman and how she came to Earth and came to be the Supergirl character wearing that particular costume. Like, how did this all come to be? So she's trying to explain to Ruthie how she's different fundamentally from Superman and how they just believe in different things, even though she's trying to be a superhero like he wants her to be a superhero.
Feisty little guy.
But the way that Millie Alcock said that they wrote it in the movie is that Supergirl thinks of Superman as like a big dork because of the way he was raised on Earth. Like he was just raised to be that particular personality. But they mix this with footage of her arriving in her pod with Krypto on Earth and Superman finding her, and he's been grown. She expected to find baby Kal-El because she knew him as a baby back on Krypton. A lot of the footage later in the trailer actually shows us the destruction of Krypton and her in Argo City as her father, Zor-El, actually helped raise it up so that it survived Krypton's destruction. There's been a lot of talk about Brainiac because the city looks like it's being domed like Brainiac domes cities when he shrinks them down. But it's actually meant to be a shield that her father Zor-El puts over Argo City to protect it like a life raft after Krypton's destruction. But I love all this footage of her arriving on Earth for the first time. This is obviously a flashback. That's why she has this particular, bright suit. This is meant to be a big callback to the Christopher Reeve Superman movie and the suits that Jor-El and the Kryptonians wore in that movie, very, very shiny suits. She sees the Fortress of Solitude for the first time. James Gunn has not explained the actual timeline here of when she arrived on Earth and how long Superman had been Superman when that happened. I'm assuming it's relatively recently. The events of the Superman movie take place 3 years after he outed himself as Superman to the rest of the world and started acting in the costume, flying around saving people. So I'm assuming this scene of her arriving on Earth happens shortly before that, like she's been on Earth for a little while when Superman has been Superman around the world. We get a real quick shot of her Supergirl suit, but it's on an alien planet in present day mixed with her other regular clothes here. But we also have a separate scene of Superman giving her the suit for the first time, saying, I know this looks kind of weird, like the colors are kind of bright, but it's just to let people know that we're good. The way that James Gunn explained it, Superman in-universe decided to wear the trunks to make him feel like more of a luchador so the kids would be less afraid of him. So his speech to Kara here about their colors being so bright, just to let people know that they're actually good people, is just in keeping with the tone of that. Speaking of which, James Gunn also confirmed my theory that the Superman suit that we saw in the Man of Tomorrow footage where he's wailing on Lex is actually a brand new suit, like it's not the exact same suit from the first Superman movie. So both of them, Kara and Superman, get glow-ups with their costumes in their next movies because the Supergirl costume changed a little bit too. Like they changed the symbol just a little bit and she got a brand new belt. So I'm assuming this will happen in future movies too, where they'll tweak the costume movie to movie without like radical changes with maybe a few exceptions. Like I'm sure James Gunn will have some fun with the costumes in successive movies down the road. We get a scene of her in present day saving a bunch of people in a cage here. This is probably saving them from the brigands here. It just seems like they're hyping up the brigands in Krem's group as way bigger villains than they were in the original comic book. When she says she and her cousin, Kal-El, Superman, have very different ideas about what it means to be a superhero, she's talking about the no-kill rule. In the original Woman of Tomorrow comic book they're adapting for this movie, she talks about the no-kill rule, like I'm trying to adhere to this no-kill rule, this whole thing that my cousin got me onto. So part of the idea in the movie is that she's still relatively new to being a superhero, so she's kind of trying to figure out her own way that's different from Superman's way of being a superhero.
Hey, when do you think you're coming back?
I'm kind of busy right now.
But as we've seen in previous trailer footage where he says that he's worried about her, like, I'm worried you won't find your people, like, you're spending so much time away from Earth, you need to spend more time here cultivating your friends. She's been bumping up against his expectations of her, so that's actually been weighing on her. Most of this, though, as you see through the trailer and the events of the original comic book they're adapting for this, is to make Supergirl feel like a very distinct character from Superman than just like a spin-off, like a Superman light kind of character, the way that they wrote Supergirl in the Arrowverse. She was basically just like Superman with a skirt on in the Arrowverse. And James Gunn also confirmed that Supergirl will be in Man of Tomorrow. I don't know what she's going to be doing, if she's going to be helping fight Brainiac or doing something else in the movie, but she will be in the movie. He said that he was filming with her for the movie just a little while ago. All this footage of her lasering the giant ship here is the brigand ship Krem's ship, and it's probably from like the final big battle in the movie, the way it seems like with the Lobo helping her out fight the brigands. We get a couple cool scenes of her flying around in space, fighting people with her superpowers after her powers do come back. One of the other cool things they're using this movie for is to show you Superman's Supergirl abilities that they didn't use the first Superman movie for. Like, there's a lot of different things that Superman and Supergirl can do. You just need like a couple movies to show all of them. It sounds like the voiceover about the space brigands being this terror across the galaxy, so to speak. Defend the galaxy, make all the Guardians of the Galaxy jokes that you want, is coming from one of the scenes when they're on the space bus, because there are a couple attacks that she helps defend against while they're on the space bus. This is actually a new surprise though. It seems like Krem actually has superpowers. He doesn't have superpowers in the original comic book. Maybe this is just to make him feel like a much bigger threat to Supergirl. All these scenes of the planet-wide destruction you're seeing with this giant energy beam is of Argo City on Krypton during Krypton's destruction, with it raising up because of Zor-El trying to save the actual city itself. All these scenes of Krypto seeming like he's about to die is after Krem shoots him. That's also from the comic book, but they're slightly changing that plotline. She basically has to leave him with the doctor on Ruthie's world to try and heal him while they go to try and find the antidote from Krem, who takes off trying to escape Supergirl, worried that Supergirl is going to kill him. But I'm assuming there'll be some slight changes to that as well too, because of the way they're presenting Krem in this movie. We get a bunch more scenes of Jason Momoa's Lobo on his space bike just wrecking a whole bunch of people. It kind of sounds like the way they wrote him into this movie is that at one of the space bars, she gets into a big bar brawl and bumps into him accidentally, like he just happens to be there, and then he gets in on the actual fight just because he's entertained by this and decides to help her out. Maybe they'll also write in that there's a bounty on some of the brigands, and that's why he wants to help her later in the movie, because he's not that altruistic. He wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't some money to be made out of it.
Stop. You're hurting my head.
I'm also kind of wondering if he's going to be back in Man of Tomorrow too, because so many people are coming back, but James Gunn has not confirmed that yet, and Jason Momoa has not given away any details about that. What I'm actually hoping to see from Lobo's character is that they do show some of his abilities where the brigands like blow off some of his body parts or they destroy him and he regenerates himself from a drop of blood, just because that, like, his big claim to fame is that he can basically heal almost any wound, any type of wound. They've kind of gotten into this in animation where like really crazy things will happen. If he sheds a whole bunch of blood, the blood itself will also generate other copies of himself. And usually what he'll do in the comics is it'll just go around killing all of his copies because he doesn't want to have a whole bunch of copies of himself. Most of the time they play that for comedy, but this isn't a rated R movie, so obviously they're going to tone that down just a little bit. Maybe someday we'll get a rated R Lobo movie of some kind. I think the idea when you see her making the fist here is when her powers are coming back, when she makes it under a yellow sun and her powers start to come back. For some of the movie, she's under a red sun, so she doesn't have powers, but at a certain point in the story from the comics, she starts to get her powers back and things start to get real crazy. Really good example of that is her lasering her way out of the lake here. Really cool shot. Supergirl flying out of the lake is also a reference to the classic 1984 Supergirl movie with Helen Slater, who also did come back in the Arrowverse as Supergirl's Earth Mother. It would be weird if they don't give her a cameo in this movie, so we'll see if she shows up somewhere in the background. When Krem says, only one of you is going to make it out alive, I think he's talking to Supergirl and Ruthie, not about Krypto. Do not worry about Krypto though, he will be fine. Like, they're not going to kill the dog in this movie. Even though James Gunn did not make this movie, he didn't write and he didn't direct this movie, he's too much of a dog fan to be cool with somebody killing Krypto in this movie. One of the other things you see going on in this big final battle here when she just unleashes on all the brigands here is that she doesn't hold back the same way that Superman holds back big time. And in the first Superman movie, if you really look at it, he actually only juices himself up to like 70-80% power levels with the sun before he goes back in to fight the Hammer Baravia Ultraman fight. So I'm really hoping when we get to Man of Tomorrow that James Gunn shows more of an unleashed Superman because Brainiac is so powerful and because Lex has the war suit, Superman is less likely to hold back against him. They also did this during Superman and Lois where Lex was wearing the war suit fighting Superman and it was much easier for him to unleash on Lex without worrying about killing him. But when it comes to the events of Man of Tomorrow, which are supposed to take place right after this movie, I'm assuming that at the end of Supergirl, she comes back to Earth, and then the events of what's happening at the beginning of Man of Tomorrow just pick up the minute she comes back. They're in the middle of filming Man of Tomorrow right now, so we'll probably get more footage of that over the next couple of weeks. I'll just do more videos for that separately as we do get more of that. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below and let me know which of these characters you want to see come back in Man of Tomorrow because after Clayface, it's like the next real big DC movie that's coming. We're supposed to be getting more Lanterns footage in the next month or so I'll do more videos as soon as they do drop some more, but if you do have special requests for DC bonus videos like Clayface or any other trailers that just recently dropped, I just did videos for all that stuff too, just let me know in the comments below. I just did a much bigger video for that Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow teaser with Lex in the Warframe fighting Superman. Click here for that, and click here for my brand new Lanterns trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.